In accordance with Governor McKee's Executive Order 21-59 dated May 27, 2021, the Cumberland School Committee intends to conduct this meeting remotely. The public can participate in this meeting remotely, but not in person by calling 1-312-626-6799, webinar ID 978-6433-7615, or can join via Zoom by going to the Cumberland Schools website to the events calendar and clicking on the link. The first item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. And pledge allegiance
to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for the record, we'd just like to acknowledge that tonight is officially Mr. Mitchell's last open school committee meeting. So we may say that a few times tonight. The next item on the agenda is approval of agenda. In compliance with Governor's Executive Order 21-59 dated May 27th, 2021, discussion or vote on whether there's public access to the meeting through adequate alternative means. And I believe there is, Mr. Chandler.
Yes, there is.
So I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mrs. Rogalski.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Feather. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it 7-0. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda, which includes approval of minutes from the regular meeting, June 10th, 2021, approval of minutes from the executive session, June 10th, 2021, and personnel actions, which I think I have right. Oh, I don't have those quite here, but the personnel actions as well. So I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Fiorella,
Second.
second by Mrs. Rogalski. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it 7-0. The next item on the agenda is report out of the executive session meeting on June 24th, 2021, and report out of executive session votes. There were no votes taken. So the next item is a vote to seal minutes of the executive session. I need a motion to seal the minutes.
Motion to seal.
Motion by Ms. Smith,
Second.
by Mrs. Feather. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it 7-0. Okay, Mr. Mitchell, your final superintendent's report, and you've got some good stuff on it.
Yes, I do. Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, members of the school committee and everyone in attendance at this meeting this evening. It is my pleasure to announce the District Teacher of the Year. As you all know, every year we are asked to identify someone that we feel deserves this recognition. So what we do is we ask all of our principals in each of our schools to submit the name of a teacher that they feel is deserving of this recognition. And as you can imagine, we have outstanding teachers, and we have the difficult task of selecting one District Teacher of the Year. I am, and then what we do is we have each of the principals read these incredible things that they have written about their nominee, and then we ask all of the administrators to vote on the person who they feel is deserving based on the information shared by the principal. I am pleased to share with all of you that this year's 2021 Teacher of the Year is high school teacher Eric Giorgio. So congratulations to you, Eric. Mr. Costa is here, and I asked Mr. Costa if he would share some of what the lovely things that he has written about Mr. Giorgio. And Mr. Costa is here this evening, and he will share that with all of you. Adolfo.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
So this is the letter that I submitted to the administrative team in the Cumberland School Department as Mr. Giorgio's nomination. It says, "It is with great honor that I present to you Eric Giorgio, our nominee for Cumberland School Department's Teacher of the Year. In what has been the most challenging times of this era in education, Eric has consistently stood out as an innovator, a leader, and a positive force at CHS. Eric quickly embraced the environments in which we would operate. In 2020, 2021, setting up his classroom with technology he purchased himself to provide the best possible learning experiences for his students. Emails of appreciation soon poured in from our community, praising his efforts to meet the needs of all of his students. Our parent, Joanna, said about Eric, "I just wanted to take a minute to thank you for working with Julia this year in algebra. When I spoke with you at the beginning of the year and let you know that she struggles in math, you were very understanding and assuring. Julia told me that you always made sure to check in with her during class to see if she had any questions. This is the kind of help Julia needs, and I can't thank you enough for doing this. Teachers like you really make a difference, and you are very much appreciated." Mr. Giorgio's impact on our school has gone far beyond the walls of his classroom. Early on in his career at CHS, Mr. Giorgio established the Game Club to provide an inclusive environment where students can share their passion for gaming in a social setting. By removing the isolation that often comes with gaming, students gathered to compete, share strategies, and hang out with their peers. During this past year, while many other school programs were put on hold, Mr. Giorgio continued to offer this inclusive, safe environment for his students during advisory and independent times. To bestow this nomination during a year of such uncertainty on Eric is tremendously appropriate. He embraced the challenges while others demonstrated resistance to our new environments. Eric purchased technology to create a classroom that was inviting to all of his students. He set up a camera and a large television in the back of the room to provide the same point of view for students at home as those in person. Additional microphones located in different sectors of the classroom allowed for fluid communication for all members of his class. Mr. Giorgio's goal was to simulate the truest live experience for all students. Most important was Eric's dedication to ongoing communication with his students to ensure these practices and approaches work for them. There is so much more to be said about Eric Giorgio and his value to our school and our district. He is a positive influence on our staff and on our students, always fostering relationships conducive to learning. Not too long ago, I approached Eric and asked him to consider greater leadership roles, as I believe he has the tools for even greater impact. As Eric said to me, "You get what you give," and Eric gives a lot. To close, I wanted to share this email from a parent who captures Eric's dedication and commitment perfectly. "My son Max is a senior this year. It's not exactly the year we envisioned, but it is still a good year. He is enrolled in the CTE pathway and will continue his education in the fall at SNHU for gaming design and development. Mr. Eric Giorgio has been Max's instructor in the past for Java and now for AP Computer Science A. Max is also enrolled in the design and development class, which requires a capstone project. I just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Giorgio. Although he does not teach this class, Mr. Giorgio has been such an amazing mentor to Max as he works through this project. With everything that these teachers have to put together these past few weeks, Mr. Giorgio continues to mentor, guide, and support my son for a class he doesn't teach. At a time when most choose to point out the negative, I felt the need to point out the good we have at CHS. I cannot thank him enough for being such an amazing teacher and role model. I want Mr. Giorgio to know what a positive impact he has had on his students, especially my son, which will be remembered for long after they graduate. I know I am forever grateful for his dedication. He is such an asset to CHS and the CTE program." Congratulations, Eric, again.
Congratulations, Eric.
Thank you, Mr. Costa. Everybody for your kind words. I really appreciate it. You know, the whole Cumberland community, it's been just an amazing opportunity. So thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And let me just say a couple of things just to build on what Mr. Costa just said. First of all, I have this handsome plaque for you, Mr. Giorgio. So not only will you get this plaque, Cumberland, it says Cumberland School Department 2021 District Teacher of the Year presented to Eric Giorgio in recognition of your inspirational actions, well deserved. And I, as you can imagine, I don't get a whole lot of emails from parents, saying wonderful things about, lots of teachers. But I must say that I have personally received emails from parents who felt that they had a need to let me know how much they appreciated the work that Eric has done with their children. And I think what Mr. Costa just said, I actually just shared with all of you from the parent, where Eric is helping students that aren't even his own students, I think is a very telling thing. So we are very fortunate to have him working in our school department. There will also be a plaque that hangs in the entranceway of the Trans building. His name will be included with all other district teachers of the year. And there's no question that Eric is an outstanding example of the good work that is happening here in Cumberland. So congratulations again to you, Eric. Well deserved.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor. I truly appreciate it.
You're welcome. Moving on, Madam Chair, you may have read recently in the Valley Breeze about another teacher who was recognized. Please bear with me as I go to my paperwork. You may have heard about Jillian Pilano. We had an awards ceremony on Monday, June 7th at Ashton School, where we recognized Jillian Pilano for being the recipient of the Alan Sean Feinstein Award. Let me just share a little snippet of information that I think captures Jillian's impact and the reason why she received this award. The Alan Sean Feinstein Award honors an educator at an Alan Sean Feinstein Elementary School who effectively models acts of kindness and good deeds within the classroom and community, and whose students are involved in or lead good deed initiatives because of this educator's influence. Jill will be awarded $15,000 in Ashton Elementary School, where the winner is employed at the time of this application will receive $10,000. So congratulations to Jill. At the ceremony, we also had a chance to meet her mom and dad, her husband, and her two beautiful children. It was really, really nice. So Jill, congratulations to you, and congratulations to you for focusing your attention on acts of kindness at a time when I believe we need more acts of kindness than ever. Now, Jillian, congratulations. And Mrs. Carbonic is also here. And it was actually Mrs. Carbonic who nominated Jill because she felt that she was very deserving given all the work that she did on this particular issue. So I know that I've said a lot, Nydia. I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to say about Jill.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Good evening, everyone. I do want to congratulate Jill Pilano, and I nominated Jillian because not only she inspires her students to do good deeds and promotes kindness, but the project that her students engaged in last year had a great impact on the community. The students in her class reached out to me and asked me to see if they could do a book collection so that they could collect gently used books to donate to needy children, and Books Have Wings. After the collection, they were so excited about doing good deeds of kindness that they continue to do more. And we had a little second grader come up with the idea of creating a mini library that could go on the playground. So we had Ben Ambrose, who approached Mrs. Pilano and said, could we build a little library, mini library on our playground so that not only we can enjoy our recess time when we're here, but also other children in the community and other people can enjoy. So of course, Mrs. Pilano flew with the idea, and we had a family, the Venemeyers family, who built the little library that currently sits at the Ashton Playground. So now children from all over can stop by the school playground and enjoy this little mini library. But it was an idea that originated from the children in the school, from the students that Mrs. Pilano had at the time last year. And it just grew from there. So I felt that she was a great recipient for the award. The $15,000 are going to be spread between the teachers so that everyone can enjoy and continue to promote kindness within the school and within the community. And $2,000 from that money will be given, or were already given by Mr. Feinstein directly to Jill Pilano to thank her for her community work. So congratulations to Mrs. Pilano. I'm very proud of her and her students for everything they've done promoting kindness in the school.
Thank you, Nydia. Jill, is there anything that you wanted to say? Congratulations, first of all.
So much. No, thank you. It was just an honor, really just to, do something so nice for the community, and that little school box, a little book box that we have out in Ashton Playground is a great addition to our school. So I'm so thankful to Nydia for nominating me for that award, and so that we could do that for Ashton. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jill. If I may just bounce back, Madam Chair, to Mr. Costa. I wanted to do this, after the announcement of the District Teacher of the Year, but I think it's important for everyone to know this, that I received this from Mr. Blanchard, our athletic director. I just wanted to let you know that I received some exciting news that Adolfo Costa was selected as the Rhode Island Interscholastic Athletic Administrator, School Administrator of the Year for 2021. I'm going to use the acronym so I don't have to say that every time. The RIIAAA is our state's high school athletic administrators association, and selects a principal each year for their contributions to the schools in support of athletics. These awards are voted on by the athletic directors across the state. Adolfo's Clipper Pride shows each day, and I'm very appreciative of his support. Sincerely, Eric Blanchard. Mr. Costa will be recognized at a future athletic director meeting. So congratulations to you, Mr. Costa.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mitchell.
Lots of awards tonight. How nice is this? So while and this came in after the agenda, I remembered this because I read about it over the weekend. I think it's really important for us to recognize the Division II boys state tennis team champs. Cumberland are the state champions for tennis. So congratulations to the Cumberland boys tennis team for being the Division II state champs. Congratulations to Justin Kuntz, their head coach, and assistant coach Brandon Hanaway. The high school tennis team, boys tennis team, are state champs. Congratulations to them. Okay, I just have 10 more things. No, I'm only kidding, Madam Chair, just a few more things. This is a little off topic, but I just thought it was really important that we let everyone know this evening, in attendance this evening. We have been getting some questions about when the early release day will be for the 2021-2022 school year. As you know, during the pandemic, we moved our early release day to Monday early on in the pandemic. We discussed this as an administrative team at our most recent meeting, and everyone is in agreement that we would like to move back to Wednesdays. So for the 2021-2022 school year, early release days will move back to Wednesdays. We wanted to let parents know so that they could plan accordingly. The only other thing that I have at this point, I believe, Madam Chair, is to introduce our owner's project manager, rep, Holly Demers Sawyer. She's here this evening to give you an update on all of the facilities work happening in the school department. So with that, I'll turn it over to Holly.
Good evening, everyone. Last I met with you, I had some information and said that the next meeting I'd have lots more to report. So last Wednesday, we met with the building committee and we brought 3 bid proposals in front of them for 3 different scopes of work. The first was a phase 1 environmental study that's necessary at Cumberland Hill, and it was awarded to Gordon Archibald, which is a company out of Pawtucket. And then we also went with the Astro Moving. I know you had seen it last week, I believe, or 2 weeks ago, it was on your agenda. But the building committee also approved the Astro Moving, and that is starting at 8 o'clock on Monday morning. So I am sure Principal Malcolm is not going to get much sleep this weekend, knowing that we're going to be showing up at the movers at 8 o'clock on Monday to start this whole process, which is very exciting. And next was the general contractor. The bids came in and it was voted 6-1 for approval for H.B. Collins to do both schools. We also are working with the architect Torado to start really diving into Garvin, Ashton, and community. Those 3 schools will be designed simultaneously. Due to the way the bond is written and the bonus point, it's necessary that they are all designed and out on the street almost at the same time. So they're very busy. And we've also initiated the furniture, fixtures, and equipment, choosing it. And I'm going to work with Torado to make sure that there's a committee from Cumberland Hill to help with the selection and the need. So that will happen. There's a long lead time for the furniture, so I want to make sure that that gets out there and it's approved and reviewed, and it's and go through the school with the principal to see what is even color schemes, what will be moving forward with that. So lots and lots going on over the next 15 months now. It'll be the swing space this summer, which will we will deliver. It'll be a little chaotic, but it'll happen. And then, of course, Cumberland Hill will run for the 15 months and be delivered by the end of the fiscal year. So right now, the deliverable is we say May. It has to be substantially complete by the June 30th for the bonus points. So that's what's going on. It's every time you'll see me now, there'll be lots to discuss and review. So we're very excited that we've gotten to this point. Then we're on budget. Everything came in where we had hoped, which is key. So we're in really good shape and very much look forward to watching the progress happen.
Thank you, Holly.
You're welcome.
And that concludes the superintendent's report this evening, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell, and congratulations again to Mr. Giorgio and Mrs. Pilano. And Holly, we continue to be excited about everything that's coming up in front of us. So the next item on the agenda is the chairperson's report. And we wanted to officially be able to recognize Bob's retirement tonight. We had a celebration a couple of weeks ago with Bob and his family and staff and teachers and administrators and town members. But we wanted to officially have it on the record at Bob's last meeting before his retirement. So we do have some people lined up to speak tonight, and we will start with Assistant Superintendent, Mr. D'Amato.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, everyone. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak tonight. And Bob, I had a hard time not speaking at your retirement party and the small gathering that we had in our admin meeting. But I chose this forum to be where I wanted to speak on your behalf for a lot of reasons. But the main reason is you spent the better part of the past decade recognizing everyone, many people who have come through the district, who have worked for the district, and giving them high accolades and always passing on those congratulatory statements that you have become famous for, at least to me. And I thought that it would only be fitting that I use this forum to highlight some of the things that have stood out about me and what I've learned about you over the past 10 years as having the pleasure of being and serving as assistant superintendent on your team. And so I thought a lot about this moment, a lot of runs in SK, Bob. As you would say, a moment like this is a tremendous responsibility, and it's really important to me. And on those runs, I thought about the tens of thousands of students that you have encountered over the course of your career that have been in your care, the thousands of administrators that you've worked with. And I find myself being one of the fortunate people to speak and hopefully put a verbal capstone on what I think has been an illustrious, successful career. And I'm going to point some of those things out. So I'm going to talk about three things. I'm going to talk about Bob, the person, the individual, Bob, the professional, and lastly, I'm going to talk about what Bob means to me personally. And I'm going to try and do that to the best of my ability without interruption, Bob. Bob is a very sincere, genuine man. He's a supportive man. He's someone of class and character. He is someone who focuses on relationships. And that has been, I think, his cornerstone and his core value that he has impressed upon all of us that have worked with him, is his ability to connect with people, to make them feel important, to make them feel heard. And I think that's one of his greatest attributes. He's a man of great passion. He's a spirited guy. He's infectious with his passion. He gets us all hyped up when we needed to be hyped up. I'll get into the juicy stuff later, Bob. With those values, I think that they transcended his life, the things that he accomplished throughout his life. Bob is also a family man, true and through. Every day, and this is not an exaggeration, and Sally, thank you for joining us this evening. I asked that you be here tonight because I wanted you to hear a few things specifically. He would talk about his family all the time. It was very, very clear that how important you all are to him. He would talk about your children, Joe, Christina, Adam, your grandchildren all the time, Mom, Irene, his brothers. So much so that we felt like we knew your family, that we were part of your family. He'd also mention your intellect, Sally, all the time. It was clear that he adores you, that you were a snappy dresser, and that his words, he'd use the word snappy dresser all the time. So he'd also talk about how you would use your mental health expertise to point out lots of things that are wrong with him. He would make sure that we knew that all the time. And Bob and I share one other illness, Sally. A lot of things in common, but this specific illness on the need to purchase lots of sneakers. And in retirement, he is not going to have to wear dress shoes, loafers as much. So we talk all the time about sneakers in the closet. So I think lots of Nike pairs are going to be coming through with Amazon. And as we say, one to wear and a few to spare. So you got to give him a break on those things, right? This year, has been particularly difficult, obviously, for obvious reasons. But your family had to endure something unconscionable in terms of tragedy. And I want you to know that we all as a district suffered in our own way for you and your family. And we felt that pain. And I think that's a credit to the relationships that you build and how you made us all feel a part of your family. And at the end of the day, you finished what you started, which is a wonderful attribute of yours in your character. Bob was also an accomplished athlete. Got to know him over the years. He was a hailed and heralded high school athlete. He was inducted as an athlete in the Hall of Fame locally. He played Division I football at URI, where he played cornerback, which he and I would go back and forth. I think it's the hardest position to play in football. And we shared a lot of stories about his playing career. He then took those attributes that I talked about early on, and he applied those to becoming head coach of a high school football team that wasn't very good. He turned that team into a state championship team, and then went on to be named to the Hall of Fame in that town that he served as a head coach. So we're talking about player and coach. Unbelievable accomplishments. And those things don't happen by accident. There are patterns here that I wanted to point out about how great he is. And that pattern of success started early on, and it carried on, through his professional career. So professionally, Bob continued that success. He ran the gamut, as we would say. He started out as a health and PE teacher, became a vice principal, moved on to a principalship, became assistant superintendent here in Cumberland, and then the pinnacle of our profession, which is the superintendency, as you know. And he's done all of those things with the same passion, the same discipline, the same tenacity and demand of expectations and greatness on everyone that he encounters every day. At every stop, he contributed to the academic enhancement and performance of students. And just the other day, we were sitting and talking. We've done a lot of reflecting over the past few days together. And I asked him what made him stop playing football when he was a Division I player. And he said that he needed a change, and he wanted to make a difference in the lives of children. He felt he could do that. He wanted to see children excel. And I'd say, boy, did you do that. I always told Bob what a great orator he is, and what great presence he has. He would always captivate a room, and I'd always watch him and learn from him. And he would always seek ways to inspire us with his words. He'd always try to find quotes or things that would get us to take us to the next level. And so, lastly, I was trying to do this without having to pause. I apologize. I'm not sure what you say to someone who believed in your ability, who let you do things your way, who allowed me to be me in this position and trusted me enough to handle the academics in the district, which we always said was, what could be more important than that, right, Bob? I'm going to miss our conversations. I'm going to miss our chats, your check-ins. You would come in, talk about teaching and learning, talk about life, your family. And two alpha males. I would think, how is this going to work? You have two passionate lions of sorts coming together on a team that are very competitive natured, yet we balanced each other out. when I was juicy, you would calm me down and set me straight and guide me into what mattered most and center me. And I'll remember all the times you would ask me, was I too juicy there, Tony? Was that all right? And I'd say, you were fine, Bob. It's all good. It's all good, Bob. So I think we balanced each other out. And as a result, I think we made a great team. And I think we accomplished a lot of wonderful things together. And I appreciate our time together. I learned a lot from you. And I hope that you stop by and see me in SK. And of all the gifts you've given me, I'll end with something that you've said many, many times. And it's a gift that I'm going to carry on, and I'm going to make sure that my kids remember this. If you believe you can't, or you believe you can, you're right. The pleasure's been all mine. And thank you. Madam Chair, before you ask for the others to speak this evening, I can't believe I'm going to do this. I've watched you do this about a gazillion times, Bob. But, you know, the beach club awaits. And I got a snappy bag here for you, Bob. Snappy beach bag. Bring with you to the beach. I'm sure Sally will pack this with some things for you, your books and everything else that you'll bring to the beach club with you. I'll make sure that I give this to you tomorrow. I'll make sure I put it with my things tomorrow. And we also have a certificate here. It's a retirement recognition certificate of excellence to Superintendent Robert Mitchell. Recognition and sincere appreciation for your invaluable contributions throughout your many years of service to the students, parents, faculty, staff, and administrators of the Cumberland School Department. And I was fortunate enough to be able to be one of the signatures on here, and Chairperson, Mrs. Friedman. So we love you. Thank you for serving Cumberland.
Okay, so we will continue, Bob, and we'll give you some time at the end if you would like to say a few words. So thank you so much, Mr. Dabana. And so next is Michelle Carter, who will speak, I think, on behalf of the elementary principals.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am a little intimidated because I'm sandwiched between two very eloquent speakers. So bear with me tonight, but I am going to echo a lot of the same sentiments that Mr. Dabana has just shared. Tonight I'm speaking on behalf of the elementary school principals to honor Mr. Mitchell's leadership. We are all so grateful for the time we have spent working with Bob during his career in Cumberland. Bob has always invested in the leadership team and has demonstrated a personal interest in each one of us. He has often stated that a successful school begins with successful adults. Bob has always set the bar high, supported us along the way, and celebrated our successes. His kind-hearted and approachable personality has made it easy for us to collaborate and communicate as a team. Bob knows how to balance high expectations with compassion. Some principals' initial reaction to seeing the superintendent's name pop up on their caller ID may be panic. Picking up the phone, the first thought is often, what's wrong? But that's not the case with a phone call from Bob. His early morning or late afternoon calls are check-ins to see how we're doing. He offers a listening ear and sincere support in every phone call. On the first day of school, including the multiple first days of school during the transitions throughout the pandemic year, we could expect a phone call from Bob. His calm, understanding tone helped to put the overwhelming days into perspective. These calls exemplify his genuine support for every principal, teacher, and student in our buildings. Bob is passionate about his educational beliefs. His biggest passion has been his laser-like focus on what is best for our students. All decisions that he has made are with students' best interests in mind. Because of this, students have thrived under his leadership. Congratulations on your retirement, Bob. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for sharing your passion for education. Thank you for your dedication to our students. Enjoy your time with Sally and your family, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you, Michelle.
Next, we have Beth Coughlin.
Hi, sorry about that. So I would, I want to thank Madam Chair for the opportunity to publicly speak and really share some feelings and gratitude for Bob. We had our promotional exercises tonight, so I thought it would be best rather than go off the cuff to read something, because I think that that would be the smartest thing to do at this point. So if I may, Bob, I want to express my gratitude for the work that we have done together, the laughs we have had, and the friendship that we developed over the years. From our first encounter many, many years ago, I knew our district was in very good hands. Your sense of humor, drive, and passion have resonated with me from the start and have provided me with a model of what being an effective leader entails. I would say, however, the one thing that I will take from our time together is the way that in which you have always supported students, staff, and me. I wish you happiness, joy, and peace as you begin a wonderful chapter of your life, and it is so deserved. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for sharing your time, attention, and talent with all of us. Keep in touch, my friend, and you know that you will certainly be missed.
Thank you, Beth.
Thank you, Beth.
Next, Mr. DeMonica would like to say a few words.
Well, Bob, it's over. You said that you weren't gonna go anywhere else but retire from Cumberland when you get the job as the superintendent in schools. I've known you for 12 years now, since we got elected in 2012, Mr. Fiorello and others, that you've had a drive to make Cumberland better. You selected the right people for positions with you that have pushed Cumberland forward from being in the back of the pack to the top of the pack in the state of Rhode Island. And that's a big deal for anyone. And you did it with charm. You were quiet about it, but I'll miss, like Michelle says, those phone calls, you checking up on me on my surgery and so forth. And I'm gonna miss you. I do have on my iPad here the Beach Club membership, so enjoy yourself and maybe you'll find me there. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeMonica.
Thank you, Paul.
And next, Mr. Fiorello.
I first met Mr. Mitchell when I was a parent representative for BF Norton on the search committee for the assistant superintendent. I had the pleasure of representing BF at the time, as long before I was ever a school committee member, or even thought to be a school committee member. And Bob impressed me right away with his friendliness, his openness, his clear ability to hit the ground running. And he also had a laser focus on student achievement and how he could accomplish that as assistant superintendent. Over the years, Bob and I have worked on several policy initiatives, and also just trying to correct some small inadequacies in our system. And Bob was always ready with a solution and willing to make it happen, always in the betterment of the students. And I mean, his success here is evident. It is clearly stated.
So on more of a personal note, I would just like to say that I will miss our discussions in your office about a wide variety of topics. The one thing that everyone will know about Bob is just how genuinely of a good person he is. My father had an expression that I seldom ever use in my life, but it is salt of the earth. And Bob Mitchell is definitely salt of the earth. I will miss you. I will miss working with you, and I will miss your friendship. Good luck, Bob.
Thank you, Mr. Fiorillo.
Thank you, Mark.
And I think Mrs. Feather would like to say a few words.
Yes, sorry. Thank you. I just had to unmute myself, as always. So just wanted to just very quickly, I remember the first time I talked with Bob, there was some issue I was fired up about, which is a shocker to everyone I know. And I wanted to ensure that, my family had been heard. And not only was I heard, but Mr. Mitchell invited me in to discuss with him in person. And I found him to be approachable, smart, kind, and open-minded. Which is definitely disarming for someone that comes in all fiery and hot, right? So, but, that hasn't faltered in all of the years since he's been, in going through one of the most brutal years in his tenure here. And even throughout all of my incessant questioning about COVID stats, he's stayed true to his character because that's who he is. He's just a good person. So thank you, Bob. I know that I don't say it much, but thank you. And I appreciate you, and you'll be missed. I wish you the best.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you. And then I just wanted to share a few words, some of the same words that I shared at the celebration, but then a personal story that I'd like to add. There's a saying that in calm water, every ship has a good captain, but rough waters are the true test of leadership. And the last 15 months of Bob's career have certainly given him rough waters, but have tested and proven his incredible leadership skills. He carried the weight of every decision related to this pandemic. Do we open schools? Do we have enough sanitizer? Is the ACH adequate? Will students, teachers, and staff be safe? Do we have snow days? And learned, even though he already knew this, that there's no way to make everyone happy. But Bob never gave up. Even now, he's retiring next week, and every single day he is still committed to this district, when it would be so easy to just let it slide towards the end. So he has been committed. And we owe him a debt of gratitude for getting us not only through the last 15 months, but the last 10 years. But to speak to Bob as a person, and as Mr. Fiorillo said, I'd say salt of the earth. My daughter was in 8th grade at NCMS. Geez, Mr. Devana, I'm going to have a tough time maybe. And it was soon after the Parkland shooting. And she was out at recess one day, and the Beagle Club was having, a police department was there doing their shooting drills, firing drills. And she could hear the gunshots and was really emotional about it. And I can't even remember. I think I brought it up to Beth, and Kenzie may have brought it up. And what Bob said, just like, Carrie, what you said, he said, let's come in and meet. And I thought, maybe I would come in and meet with Bob and Beth, but he wanted my daughter there. And he and Beth both spoke directly to Kenzie. This meeting wasn't about pleasing the parent. It was about really the student and her concerns and how she felt. And there actually was action taken out of it, that if a police department is going to do drills at the Beagle Club, can we do them either after hours, or can we know ahead of time so that students, right across the street at NCMS may not hear it. And I just thought the way that Bob and Beth both just looked in my daughter's eyes and acknowledged her and made her feel safe and made her feel like she that they could do something about it. That's not academics. It's not being the top 5 district in the state. It's just caring about people. So that was quite a day for me, and I know quite a day for my daughter too. So I thank both of you for that. So Bob, that brings to a close our formal speakers for tonight. And as you always say, when you are celebrating someone's retirement, would you like to say a few words? You don't have to. You don't have to, but if you would like to say a few words, you are welcome to.
Well, thank you, Karen. I guess, the challenge is to, bear with me. The challenge is to try and get through it, without getting too emotional. But I'm humbled by your kindness, all of you that had such kind words. I do believe that the best organizations have the best relationships. And I believe that Cumberland, starting with the school committee, members of the town council, but certainly the school committee, I believe that we have established really respectful relationships, and always high expectations for ourselves and our students has been at the center of every decision that we've made. I am fortunate in that and I mean this sincerely, I know that I have been very fortunate because I have worked with school committees that are incredibly professional in the way they go about their business, respectful to one another, and always respectful to me. I have, I believe, established a great relationship with Madam Chair Friedman. Thank you. Paul. Thank you for always having my back. My fellow administrators, I hope I've expressed to all of you how much I respect the work that you do. Tony is a kindred spirit. We are like-minded in so many ways, passionate about improving the performance of kids. And I know that all of my administrator colleagues have the same drive and determination. The entire leadership team, and the danger in starting to single people out is, I might forget someone, but I got to just say, Rachel, I just have enormous respect for you. If people only knew what you did beyond just being a special ed director, everything from, generating food drives and clothes drives and giving away free eggs. you're really good at what you do. So I appreciate that. I mean, I've said a million times, Alex is probably the most gifted municipal finance person, certainly in Rhode Island. You know, Alex is an interesting cat, and I have enormous respect for his ability, and he's a pretty passionate guy too, for those of us that know him. But I don't know that we would be where we are financially, given the limitations that we have here, without his incredible leadership. Mike is an incredibly talented guy. Mike's one of those people. I don't know how he does it, but anything with moving parts that you can actually touch and see, and then those things that you can't see and out there in the World Wide Web. I mean, he is an amazing man. He does so much more than I think people realize to support this district. And I can't say enough about how grateful I have been to have him working with me. He's an incredibly talented and valuable person to this district. Katie Duncanson, we are so lucky to have you. There's no question that Katie is incredibly talented. I mean, her confidence and her experience as an attorney is really helpful to this school department. We are very, very fortunate to have her. Will is as nice a man and as willing to help anybody as anyone I've ever met. He's a good person. The district is very fortunate to have Will working with us. So I have to say something about Cindy. I often kid around and say that Cindy really is the person who runs the district. And in a way, she does. Her organizational skills are off the charts. I've said many times, you know, I'm yelling for something that I need, a document, and for a meeting that I'm going into, and she'll say, well, if you look at the blotter in the middle of your desk, you will find the document right in front of your face. Only she's too nice to say something like that. She's amazing. And, you know, more than just a colleague and co-worker. You know, certainly, you know, I could go on and on. I just, you know, hold so many of you in high regard. And again, I know that there's going to be some people that I wish I said something about that I am not thinking right now, because I'm just barely able to get through this without getting overly emotional. But I said, as Paul often says, you know, he remembers that I said my goal is to retire from the Cumberland School Department, and I'm happy that has happened. And when I say that it has been my honor to be the superintendent of this school department, I mean that sincerely. So thank you. I am looking forward to spending time with Sally and our children and our grandchildren. And I would be remiss if I did not, you know, say that to this day, so many of you and others in the school department have connected with me to let me know that they're still thinking about my family and me, given the tragic loss of Emily. Just amazing the support that you all showed my family and me. So thank you for letting me go on and on. And grateful for the kind words, and Tony, I mean, I spent 3/4 of the time while you were talking in tears. There's no question that you and I have a special relationship, and I have tremendous admiration and respect for your ability. I have told you this, I have stated it publicly, that you are probably the most outstanding instructional leader, educational leader that I have ever worked with. And you know, 27 years as an administrator, I hope you understand how meaningful that is. You are an incredibly talented guy, and I have been blessed to have you working with me. I can't imagine, and I mean this sincerely, I can't imagine, you know, any two people being closer than we are. So thank you. Thank you for making me look good. I mean that sincerely. So, Madam Chair, I could go on, and I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there thinking, like Alex, thinking, no, please, no, I'm only kidding. There are a lot of people out there that have heard enough, but I, you know, all I can say is thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob, and congratulations again. We wish you fair winds and following seas and a wonderful time at the beach club with your fancy snappy bag. Okay, we will now move on to the rest of our agenda. So, not a great transition, but the next item on the agenda is reports of standing committees. The first item here is Fiscal Management Subcommittee update. Mr. DeMonica.
Madam Chair, thank you. We did have a fiscal meeting tonight, and a couple of items are on the agenda. So the first item was item number 8, was discussion and a vote to approve the amending the 2021-22 school budget, where I had made a motion at that time to add 2 positions into the school budget. The first one would be a guidance department head stipend, so they have some leadership in that department now that the assistant principal there is leaving, and so it kind of rights some wrong. And the second was to add a high school curriculum coordinator assigned to the superintendent's office. The assistant superintendent's office, and that passed 3-0 on that item there. Next is we talked about the transitional work in the Cumberland Hill Elementary. We did something for the district with Hub Tech Barracuda for our renewals. A change order for CHS unit vents replaced. Payment of bills for the owner's representation, Colliers International. We finally approved our employee compensation plan for the fiscal year 22, which will go on to the school department's website. And then we had one final item again, fiscal year 2021-22 amended school budget, which we are tabling until our next meeting, so that Mr. Prignano can add a few more items that we're going to probably have to add, such as busing for Cumberland Hill and some other items as well. So he's going to make one complete budget with those 2 job positions and others, and we'll vote on that budget change probably in July. And that was our meeting tonight, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. DeMonica. Next is the Policy and Procedures Subcommittee update. Mr. Fiorella.
Yes, Policy and Procedures did meet on Tuesday night. We discussed 2 policies. We discussed the grading policy for K through 8. Mr. Demana and his team has been working for the last couple of years on restructuring the grading policy for 6th through 8 and has done great work on that policy. It was set for a vote for later tonight, but we're going to make, there's been a couple of small changes to it, which requires it to go back to policy briefly, but it will be voted on in our July meeting, at which time I expect it to pass very easily. I'm sure you've all seen the policy at this point. Also, we presented for the first time in policy the actual inclusion policy that was written by Kyle Santos, the special ed coordinator. This policy really just does some really nice work on making sure that everyone in the district is aware that they need to include all the students when making decisions regarding trips or clubs or even some sports. It's a very good policy. It's going to get some work done to that as well. And it'll be reintroduced sometime over the summer. I'm not sure when that'll come back though, but that was also tabled. I'm sorry, the grading policy was initially passed in policy on a 2-to-1 vote. We were going to, like I said, we were going to make some slight changes. We decided to make some bigger changes, just really on the layout of the policy more than anything else. So that's it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fiorello. The next item is Achievement and Communications Subcommittee update. This subcommittee did not meet this past week. The next item is the District Health and Wellness Subcommittee update. Mrs. Wigalski?
District Health and Wellness did not meet since last meeting.
All right, thank you. Mr. Fiorello, the next item is the public hearing, but reading of amended policy.
No, we don't need to read either policy.
Okay. So we're
just taking no action.
Okay, then we'll move on to the next item, which is comments from the public. If anyone in the public would like to make any comments, you can raise your virtual hand. Our public comments do have a 3-minute time limit, and you need to state your name and your address for the record, please. Mr. Chandler, do you see anyone's hands raised?
Not at this time. We do have a few members, but no hands raised at this time.
Okay. All right, then we will move on. The next item on the agenda is old business. Discussion and a vote to approve resolution SCR 2021-02 Employee Compensation Plan Fiscal Year 2022. As Mr. DeMonica said, this passed in fiscal earlier tonight. So now we need a motion on this.
Okay. Madam Chair, it did pass tonight. It was corrected. That was given to us at the last meeting. And I would move passage. It's a 3-0 vote. And once we're done, Mr. Chandler will make sure this gets posted to the Cumberland School Department website so anyone from the public can see what we are doing with the employee compensation for the district. So I move passage.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. DeMonica.
I'll second that motion.
Second by Ms. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, 7-0. The next item on the agenda is new business with item A, discussion of SR2 grant application submitted to RIDE. I believe Mr. DeMona, are you taking this one?
Madam Chair, yes. I believe Mike is going to cue a slide so that I can talk about what made it into the grant. It was actually submitted today. Okay, so we're only going to really pay attention to the first bucket. With all of the monies that were in SR2, again, just as a quick review, about $2.2 million. Roughly 37.5% of those monies went directly to the schools for before and after school programs. There were some things that Dr. Santa needed programmatically that we put into the grant. The rest of the monies that were available after we put some PD things in there that the state required, which was a pretty pricey thing, I think about $300,000 worth. So the remaining money We were able to get 11 positions. We thought we were going to get 11 positions. We were fortunate enough to be right with our forecast. So 7 essentials positions made it into the grant, which 6 of them are middle school bound and 1 is bound for the high school. That would mean that both middle schools will have 1 ELA and 1 math essentials teacher per grade level, which is a big win for those middle schools, especially given the data that we're seeing at the end of the year here. The middle schools will also receive a half of an ELA and a half of a math interventionist, which would make them whole at each building. Right now, they only have a half of each, so they would have 1 ELA and 1 full-time math interventionist in the building necessary. Michelle and I had a conversation before the grant was submitted, and after looking at her data, she was in agreement that a math person was absolutely necessary in her building as an interventionist. And based on the data that we're seeing solely on volume, community school is in need of an additional interventionist. Now, interventionists, just so you all know, are district positions, meaning if we see that there is a data shift with our end of the year data as we're collecting it, we may decide to reallocate interventionist resources to the buildings that didn't make the gains, and perhaps other schools made gains where we had anticipated not. So we want to be, we want to be flexible with how we're thinking about those jobs and make sure that the right schools get the resources. There are other needs, and that's what buckets 2 and 3 are about. There are some changes that Dr. Santa and I have talked about, but the goal is hopefully we can get these other jobs into ESSER 3, and hopefully we could write it in such a way or get them in such a way financially that we could pay for these jobs for at least 2 years, which would buy us 2 years to figure out how we're going to pay for them and sustain them beyond that. And the grant was submitted today. Alex, myself, people in his office met today. We went over the entire grant. There's a lot there, made sure there were no errors, and it was submitted to the Department of Ed this morning.
Okay, well,
Feel free to ask anything.
congratulations on getting it submitted. That was no small feat.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any
Bye.
questions or comments from the committee? Mr. DeMonica?
Madam Chair, I mean, it's ESSER 2 money, but, it is for the children of Cumberland that we have all these extra positions we can get for the next couple of years and maybe more. And it's only going to help us better. And thank you for everyone, including Mr. DeMona and his staff, for getting everything done, Dr. Santa as well. So it can only help. That's what we're here for. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeMonica.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Mr. DeMona? Okay. Ms. Smith?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one question. When do we anticipate comments back from RIDE on this? I know there's been discussions with RIDE on whether they'll take positions into consideration. So I'm just wondering if they will provide feedback at any given time.
So Alex emailed some of his contacts at RIDE. Alex, do you want to mention what you had sent?
About the spending money before?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I emailed RIDE, and basically they're waiting for an answer from the federal government. They haven't gotten the answer that they're looking for yet. Because so I mean, we've got these summer programs, and I just wanted to make sure that before, because they're not going to probably approve this for many weeks. They're getting every district sending them in, right? And I just wanted to make sure there would be no, well, you spent money before it was approved. We can't, you can't use that. But they don't know the answer themselves. I think they'll try to. I think they want to, So we'll have to stay tuned.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, again, congratulations. I know that was a lot of work to get that submitted, and we're excited to see where we go next with it.
Thank you.
Mr. DeMonica, would you like to take these this first one, discussion and or vote to approve amended fiscal year 2021-2022 school budget. We decided that that would be tabled, correct, for this evening? Yep, you're muted.
No, Madam Chair, we took this item up in fiscal, where the two positions that we have asked to be added into the budget was improved in fiscal. And I would move here that we make passage for this amended FY 21-22 school budget. We're going to be tabling another one down below that has an actual resolution number.
Okay.
So Mr. Pignano can add other items that he believes we're going to have to deal with. So I would make a motion that we approve adding the guidance head content leader position to the guidance department at the high school, and that we have a position of high school curriculum coordinator assigned to the assistant superintendent's office. And I would move passage.
Mr. DeMonica makes a motion to approve the amended school budget fiscal year 2021-2022. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mrs. Rogalski. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it 7-0.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, Madam Chair, do you want me to continue through all these resolutions?
Yes, please. Thank you.
All right, so we have discussion and the vote to approve resolutions SCPR 06-2021-30, JJM Cumberland Hill Elementary, CHS Transitional Building, School Construction Renovations. Madam Chair, we've been asked by our legal counsel to table this. And we're going to table this to a meeting next week sometime. There's some questions about the bidding, and so we're going to table that. We actually voted to send this to the full committee with no recommendation, but I would ask that we table this until next week.
Okay. Thank you. So that item will be tabled.
Next is SCPR 06-2021-31. Hub Technical Barracuda Renewal for the district. Let me just get that one in my hand. Hub Technical, so it's a resolution authorizing and empowering the Cumberland School Committee to execute a purchase from Hub Technical Services, 44 Norfolk Ave, Southeastern Mass, for the district's Barracuda renewal in amount not to exceed $17,485.71, and it passed 3-0 in the fiscal, and I would move passage.
Okay, so
Motion to approve.
I may add that this comes from the fiscal year 22 budget, and it's a service that the IT department renews every year.
We have a motion by Mr. DeMonica and a second by Mr. Collins. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it 7-0. Mr. DeMonica, I do need to go back to the item that we tabled because we do need to vote to table
Okay.
it.
I will make a motion to table SCPR 06-2021-30 until our next special meeting.
And I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. DeMonica, second by Mr. Collins. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it 7-0.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the next item is SCPR 06-2021-32. It's a change order for the Cumberland High School unit vents being replaced. It's a resolution empowering the Cumberland School Committee to award to E&E Systems of Canton, Mass. a change order for the removal and installation of new unit vents energy management systems at the high school in an amount not to exceed $200,462.14, which brings the total of the award to $849,620.14. Madam Chair, what has happened is we have found asbestos, which we didn't expect to find in the math wing of the high school, 14 rooms to be exact. And as every time we find asbestos, the district moves the fastest they can to remove it. And we were going into those rooms anyways and open up the walls for the unit ventilators it's best that we make make the change. And the district has found the money that's coming out of the facilities at the moment. But Mrs. Smith and Mr. Collins asked that, Holly Demers logged in there as well. So she can track this for reimbursement further down the road. The RIDE with the $79 million bond does not want to do a change order here, a change order there. They'll accept them all at the end of the year in one big package. And there may be other work to do, if we save money on the $79 million bond. So E&E was the original contractor, and they're going to handle this award. So the total new amount is $462,014. I would move passage.
We have a motion by Mr. DeMonica,
Second.
second by Mr. Collins. I don't know who else said it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, 7-0.
Okay. Next is SCPR 06-2021-33 Owners Representation Services for Collier International. Resolution empowering the school committee to approve payments for Colliers International of Providence, Rhode Island for the owners representation service for the month of April and May of 2021, an amount not to exceed $30,984.14. It will be paid out of the $79 million bond. Mr. Prignano, our business manager, will get us the fiscal resolution that should be attached to this. And it goes through the $79 million bond. So I would move passage in the amount of $30,984.14, and the business office will get us the fiscal resolution to go with this.
We have a motion by Mr. DeMonica,
Second.
Second.
second by Ms. Smith and Mr. Collins. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, 7-0.
Okay, next is SCR 2021-03, a resolution authorizing and empowering the Cumberland School Committee to amend the 21-22 budget from $74,163,874 to $74,062,034, a decrease of $101,840 in order to be budget compliant with the town. Madam Chair, we voted and the business manager concurred that we can table this to our July 15th meeting. We will not be in default with the town budget or charter. And Mr. Prignano has a few more items that he's probably going to have to add, like busing and so forth, because of the change from Cumberland Hill to the transitional building. So he's asked that we put this off until the July 15th meeting. So I would ask that we table it till July 15th.
So we have a motion by Mr. DeMonica to table this, second by Ms. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, 7-0.
All right, so I'm assuming items number D and E are withdrawn, Madam Chair?
I believe, Mr. Fiorello, we will be tabling the next two items, or actually the next item.
Yes, so I would make a motion to table. J, I don't have.
Yeah, discussion and or vote to approve amended policy. We're going to table that tonight. Mr. Fiorello makes a motion to table, seconded by Mrs. Feather. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, 7-0. And the next item is discussion and or vote to approve the first reading of the new policy, A6, inclusion of all students.
I would table A6 also, Madam Chair. Motion to table.
Okay, motion to table by Mr. Fiorello, second by Mrs. Rogalski. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, 7-0. The next item on the agenda is discussion and a vote to approve payment of bills. Mr. DeMonica.
Madam Chair, we have no payment of bills at this time.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is school committee comments, school liaison reports. Any comments from the school committee? Mr. DeMonica.
Well, I would just like to say to all the principals out there and the staff, it's been a tough year. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. but we've all worked together to move this district forward. And I just want to say thank you very much to all of you for the work that you did. It wasn't great. It was hard sometimes. We didn't agree on some items, but just thank you to all of those people. And Bob, thank you for the kind words, and I'm sure I'll see you somewhere along the way. And that's it, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. DeMonica. Someone else, Mr. Rogalski?
Just wanted to wish Mr. Mitchell a happy retirement. We didn't get much time together, but I appreciate you making it very easy to come on here and get kind of right into everything. So best of luck with everything to you. And also, I just wanted to give a little congratulations to the Cumberland High School JV boys track and field team who were state champions. And the girls track and field team just missed state champions and are runners up, second place state champions. So 2 outstanding team efforts by the high school and their coaches.
Ms. Smith, did you have your hand up?
I did. Thank you, Madam Chair. And it's just to echo what Mr. DeMonica has stated already. And that's a big thank you to all the teachers, administration, the staff within the schools for such a difficult year that started well before the year even began, and really held it together for the town and for the students, and just a testament to the leadership of Superintendent Mitchell as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you. Mr. Fiorella?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to also echo the comments about the tough year it's been, not just for staff and administrators, but of course for the students themselves. They have gone through something that no one's gone through in 100 years, literally 100 years. And they've persevered. They've done the best they can. And I'm sure that they are all very happy that this year is coming to a close tomorrow. I also want to thank in advance all of the staff that's going to be involved in summer school, extended school year services. This year, it's going to be very important. And I know there's a lot of students involved in that, and staff as well. So, thank you and good luck for that work you'll be doing. I also want to acknowledge the work that this school committee has done over the past year. We've had some very tough calls to make, and also, I guess, the previous school committee. Tough calls to make. We didn't really know. We all had to become learned and read up on everything that the departments of health and CDC were throwing at us. And I thank Mr. Mitchell and his team for all of his guidance. And in closing, I would just say, good luck to Bob on his retirement, and to echo Edward R. Murrow. Good night and good luck, Bob.
Thank you, Mark. Madam. Okay.
Sorry, Mrs. Feather?
Just echoing what a lot of folks are saying. Thank you to all of the school teachers and administrators for this really tough year, but did a fantastic job. I also do want to say congratulations to Cumberland, the CHS softball team. I was going like Cumberland High School softball team. Their season came to an end in the playoffs this week. They did a great job, and they showed some great perseverance, because they had actually lost, I think, their first 4 games of the season, then fought their way back and got into the playoffs and actually took down last year's champion along the way. So great job, Cumberland softball. And I just wanted to also mention, I attended 2 graduation ceremonies this week, or moving up ceremonies, or whatever we call them. And they were both wonderfully done and memorable. And it made me think a little bit more. My kids were distance learners the whole year, and I just want to really thank their teachers and administrators for consistently including them as much as possible. The distance learners, felt a little, because they're not physically in the building, we're feeling a little bit disjointed and the teachers have done such a great job with really including them. And so special shout out to Mrs. Cab from NCMS, who would physically drop stuff off at our house. and also Mr. Kazman and Ms. Bacon as well. Thank you.
Mr. Mitchell,
Madam Chair, if you will just indulge me for just one more minute, as I said, when I, had an opportunity to speak after all the lovely things that people had to say, I said that, I might miss someone that I had hoped to say something about, and I'd like to just do that right now. I need to just let you all know how much I appreciate the relationship that I have with Steve Adams. Steve and I talk, I would say, almost on a daily basis. And I think most people would agree, certainly the school committee knows as well as anyone, that Steve is a classy, smart, eloquent professional. And I don't know how he feels, but I must say that I think our relationship has really evolved, and I have enormous respect and confidence in his counsel and his guidance. So I just needed everyone to know, I think we're really fortunate to have Steve as our legal counsel. And, like I said, I just like when times are tough and when you need legal guidance, chances are, there are some difficult issues that we need to address. And, Steve does it with such confidence and such a support. So I just needed to let you know, Steve, I wouldn't have been able to sleep tonight if I didn't publicly let everybody know how much I appreciate your support and the relationship that we've established. And I do believe that the district is very fortunate to have you as our legal counsel. So thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Bob. That was completely unnecessary, but incredibly appreciated. And I am very sad for me, but very happy for you.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Any
Madam
other?
Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Any other comments? I would just like to thank and acknowledge Mr. Costa and the high school administrators and the senior class advisors for putting on a wonderful in-person graduation ceremony at Tucker Field. First time I've ever attended a graduation at Tucker, and it all just worked out wonderfully. So thanks everyone for that. And to also echo what Mr. Fiorello said in his giving thanks to the school committee. We're at the end of our first school year together, and I want to thank all of you for your commitment and dedication to the students and for your patience with me as I learned my new role and have learned some new things along the way this past year as well. So thank you to everyone for that. And Mr. Mitchell, this is it. This is your very last meeting, and you know how we all feel, and we're so happy for you. And like Mr. Adams said, it's sad for us, but thank you for everything that you've done. And so the next item on the agenda is a vote to go into executive session. Mr. Mitchell, do we have executive session tonight?
No, we do not, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mitchell. And the next item is adjournment. I need a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion, we adjourn on behalf of the entire school committee tonight.
Okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Rogalski, Mr. DeMonica, and apparently everyone. And a second.
Second.
Thank you.
Second by everyone.
Ms. Smith and Mrs. Feather. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Our meeting, our last official meeting with Mr. Mitchell is adjourned at 8:36 p.m. on June 24th, 2021. Have a wonderful
Thank you.
evening, everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank